All right, gang, let's jump into this shit. I'm dying. Gang, before we jump into the meat of today's rotted sandwich, a little Uncle Bobby PSA. If you ever get the urge to paint your home, don't. Don't. Let me tell you something. You get driven by the motivation of not failing. Painting your house is one of those projects to where when you start, you can't. You can't finish. You want to know why? Because if you stop just at a certain point, say, fuck it, right? This isn't like the inside of your house where you can like sweep mud or dirt underneath the carpet and be like, I don't see it. Once you start, if you just kind of quit even 15% of the belch, hashtag unprofessional, your house will look worse than what it started, right? It's all kinds of fucked up. So if you guys want to know where I've been for about the last 14 days, it's that. You watch some goddamn YouTube video and some fuckface paints a 3,500 square foot home in 12 minutes. You're like, I can do that. Oh, fuck. I think I'm literally still physically recovering from that bullshit. If you ever get the urge to paint your house, don't. Gang, the meat of today's rotted sandwich, fuckface Frank Turek. Fuckface Frank Turek. What can we say about that piece of shit that hasn't been said a million times before? But, and funny, no, it's not, how these two things walk hand in hand. I was just talking to my dad yesterday, and of course, we're doing the whole Trumpian bullshit. And here's the thing, gang. I stick to what I say. Trump is not the disease. Trump is a symptom, right? This motherfucker did not vote himself into the White House, mainly because he's a felon. You'll never guess what it is felons can't do. Trump did not put himself in the Oval Office. This country did. People saw what this motherfucker had to offer, and they said, 2 scoops, please. He's not the disease. He's a symptom. That's Turk, right? Again, apologetics only attracts the least of us. And it's not that he says it, which is bad enough. It's that people will listen to what he has to say and be like, man, fuckface Frank Turek, he knocked it out of the goddamn park. Back when I used to have a Twitter account, still can't log on. I'm doing what I'm doing, and that's trashing the shit out of, apologists because they fucking deserve it. I can't remember what argument I was trashing or just Turek kind of in general. Again, one of his termites came out of the mound, and tried to front on me talking about, because the fucker was hung up on my language versus my message. Oh, you're real intelligent. All you can say is the F word. Why don't you address his arguments? Because addressing arguments is sitting on some bullshit. It is. I'm all about the bottom line. And again, Christians, I love it how you guys think that this is the world's best kept secret. It's not. We've heard your message. We just think it blows, right? Just like apologetics. Do you actually sit there? Do you really believe that I'm not aware that the entirety of your arguments hinges on if? I don't care. And again, I don't go knocking on their doors. And again, I wouldn't care if they kept that bullshit in their circles, but they don't. It comes leaking out, right? It's like a defective fucking diaper. Now there's shit everywhere. So I wouldn't care if you guys kept that shit to yourselves, but then you kick it on us. So yeah, now I'm going to respond to it. And I'm sure knowing me, I was like, this is just fucking sitting on some bullshit. Here's the thing, gang. The fuckface sat there and was more put out by my language, which is colorful, all the while ignoring that a grown man with a PhD acts so fucking stupid that he doesn't know what the word good means, right? That's like if my next door neighbor's house is a burning. My house is next. And instead of calling 911, instead of turning on my water hose and at least trying, my next door neighbor's pounding on my door. Chris, we need your help. Chris, we need your help. And I go outside. And instead of addressing the fire, I look and I was like, your yard is straight sitting on some bullshit. What kind of fertilizer are you using? Fuckface, I'm going for yard of the year in this goddamn subdivision. Look, Who did your edge job? Roy Orbison? Was he drunk? What kind? This is sitting on some bullshit. You call that a rose? God, I'm missing what's actually important. The fire. You're so worried. Why do you use such coarse language? You use the F word, the S word. I don't even know what sitting on some bullshit means. If that's what you're focusing on, but completely ignoring the fact that a grown-ass man just told me that pizza can take a nap, fuck you. And you want to sit here and break my balls because I'm not addressing the arguments. Well, I think arguments are sitting on some bullshit. Arguments are what you provide when you ain't got the mots. I'm drinking Gatorade. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning, by the way, gang. There's no arguments. Watch this. I'm old enough to even remember the jingle. You guys remember when Gatorade came in the glass bottles, right? Gatorade is thirst aid for that deep down body thirst. I didn't have to provide arguments to show you that I'm drinking electrolytes. I'm so dehydrated from spending countless hours outside. I'm telling you, I'm traumatized. I am. 2 worst moments of my life: watching my mom die in front of my face, number 1. Number 2, painting a home. Don't ever do that, gang. That's straight sitting on some bullshit. That was not smart on my part. Back on topic. So you got this motherfucker with a PhD who acts so goddamn stupid that he doesn't understand simple concepts like good, like bad. And if you have to sit here and play word games just to be the last person standing, and when we talk about, such sensitive topics, sex crimes, the Holocaust, slavery, shit like that, and all you have for me is a word game, you are not worth my time. I'm not addressing your argument. You're an asshole. Please go fuck yourself. Gang, let's go ahead and hit it with the Autobots transform. And roll out. What do you see? This bullshit. Blank screen by this Uncle Bobby. You're a fuckface. You guys will find out fast why it is I picked this video. Right out of the gate. Right out of the fucking gate. I was like, pause it. Because I don't want to say, I told you. Every time you guys see me do a video, you are catching my organic reactions. I haven't watched this clip yet. But the first 15 seconds, I'm like, come on, man. Come on. Now let's go ahead and go on over here to YouTube, gang. Excuse that. And of course, this is brought to us by the good people over at Cross Examine. That's Fuckface Frank Turek's channel. He's got almost 700,000 fucking followers, gang. Right? Again, I lost my channel, my previous one, but this fuckface has his, and for what? Lying. Virgins don't get pregnant. Snakes don't talk. Grow the fuck up. He makes millions of dollars by presenting arguments. Come on. Now watch. Let's go and hit it with the Autobots. Transform. I already hit it. You guys go fuck yourselves. Let's hit it with the blow-ups you ate. I can talk all day on this one. Let's just let fuckface Frank Turek speak for himself. You guys ready? Let's roll the tape.
I'd still argue it's immoral to kill a baby.
Okay. It's immoral to kill a baby, but you're pro-abortion?
Yeah.
Pause the tape. That right there. Go fuck yourself and go get a shirt that fits. Right? There's a 3rd grader out there wondering where his favorite shirt is. God damn it, your skin tight ass pants. Go fuck yourself. You guys gang. Look at the background. Fuckface Frank Turek is at a Turning Point USA speaking event. If you don't know who that is, if your booty cheeks didn't just pucker up right there, let me tell you, that's Charlie Kirk. I got to take a piss here a little bit. You guys go fuck yourselves. Charlie Kirk is a Trumpian, and he's a sack of shit. Again, at this stage of the game, let's go back over to YouTube. Fuck Turk. I don't care about this motherfucker. If at this stage you're still kicking the Trump, the MAGA bullshit, fuck you. Fuck you. Because it's one of two things at this stage of the game. You stand to get paid. You're in that tax bracket. And let me tell you something. Where you started versus where you finished after Trump's 4 years, that difference right there is how much your soul is worth. The other reason why you voted for that motherfucker, after 8 years of social and political game tape, we've all seen the same game tape. If after all this time you're still kicking MAGA bullshit, it's because you and Trump hate the same people. Who is it? Niggers, wetbacks, faggots, trannies, chinks, japs, wops, greasers, who bitches, whores. Who is it? Who offended your alpha man sensitivities this time, Republicans? Right? Some trans faggot wants to run track and field. Grr! Is that what's making you lose sleep? A teenager wants to run the 100, and like you gave a fuck about women's sports before this? You cheered when the WNBA was failing before Caitlin Clark showed up, and their numbers still don't compare to the NBA product. You don't care about women's sports. You just want a license to hate trans people. You guys hold that. I got to take a piss. You guys go fuck yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves, fuck faces. Well, I started out hot today, didn't I? All right, gang, I'm black. That was legendary. Holy shit. But back on topic. Charlie Kirk, he's a Trumpian. And apparently Turek has got his nose all the way up his booty hole. You've already struck out, as far as I'm concerned. But you guys catch that? It's immoral to murder babies, but you're pro-abortion. That. We are pro-choice. That's the problem. These discussions aren't discussions. They set you up in a way that you can't win the game. You guys catch what that kid did? He didn't blink twice. It's a false dichotomy. You're either pro-life or you're pro-abortion. I'm pro-choice. In other words, not my meat, not my call. If she wants to take that pregnancy to term, knock yourself out. If you don't, knock yourself out. But that's what made me do this video. I don't know what's coming up after that, but that's just sitting on some bullshit. The fuckface is already, which is what they do. Again, they can't have actual back and forth. That's how cowardly they are, because they know they won't survive. What the fuck? Come on. This is sitting on some bullshit. There we go. Go back over here to YouTube. They know in advance that they can't survive an actual discussion. So they will feed you the lines that they need you to answer so that they can continue to say, I won the debate. Roll the tape.
They're not babies yet. And besides, God's pro-abortion too.
But again, pause the tape. I love it how he acts like his flabber has been officially gassed it. Right? I don't think they're babies yet. Stupid atheist. Okay, look, fuck nuts. I told you, I will never listen to a Christian try to out morality me, especially on the topic of abortion, when you actually believe, because every life is sacred, right? So sacred that if you don't jerk God off, he's going to hurt you in ways that you can't imagine. Again, there's over 1 billion practicing Hindus in India right now. And Christians, they're looking for your Jesus as much as you're looking for their Ganesh. In other words, they're not. And according to Christianity, they are going to get hurt in ways that cannot be imagined. So spare me the bullshit that life is sacred and all babies are important. Fuck you. Roll the tape. Shit.
You talked about morality coming from God, but in the Old Testament, God is shown doing some things that I would personally think are morally objectionable.
Yeah.
My main example is stoning. He commands a lot of stoning for seemingly minor infractions. I don't know if you've seen a stoning. They still happen. There's videos of them. They're not.
Pause the tape. We already know what Turek's going to say. By what standard of shut the fuck up? I can't remember how, but I've seen a stoning online. Gang, not okay. Not okay. And okay, let's say the Old Testament God was that much of a fuck face. Again, why not just Obi-Wan Kenobi fingers that motherfucker and just like fall asleep? And they just, ugh. Stoning is brutal. It is. It's worse than what you can think if you've never seen it. And I'm pretty sure I got a sanitized video of stoning. Again, funny how it is that the Christian God, the Jew God, whichever one you want, because we're talking against Old Testament God stuff here, he's a direct reflection of the attitudes of that time. Jealous, mean, right? If a woman has a dick inside of her without a wedding ring, that means all the dudes in town gets to throw a rock at this woman until she's no longer breathing. And why? She had a sex drive. Oh, anything but that. Right? I don't know who these people are on the bottom of my screen, and I don't care, but I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts. They're sycophants of Turek, so this isn't going to end well. Roll the tape.
Quick. They're really unpleasant. My question is, how can you say that God provides our morality while at the same time he commands these really gruesome methods of execution that I would argue are immoral when you could just as easily do a much quicker form of execution?
Yeah.
Okay. My question is, are you a Christian?
Pause the tape. Go fuck. This one. Rewind that. Listen to what this. Look at his fucking shirt. Jesus titty fucking Christ. I can see his floating ribs from here. Go back to fucking Walmart, wherever you got that fucking shirt. I hope you kept the receipt. Who gives a shit? You're worth millions. Go buy a fucking extra large shirt. Why am the fuck face's heart rate is 75 beats a minute. How do I know? I can see it through his shirt. Please notice he didn't even attempt to lie. Okay, my question to you is, I'm gonna have a stroke. You know, I'm not rewinding it. You just keep it rolling. Roll the tape.
No.
What standard are you using to evaluate?
Pause the tape. I want to pause the tape and end the tape so fucking bad. Gang, we are 58 seconds into a 20-minute video. This is what I'm talking about. Again, this is very Trumpian. How many times are you going to hear a grown-ass man lie before someone just great and stands up and is like, you're a fucking liar? Well, I'm sure that's already happened. They just won't post those videos. At what point is a reporter going to stand up in the middle of a Trump speech and say, you are a lying orange sack of shit? You want to fuck your daughter. You're bad for the economy. You just put Ghislaine fucking Maxwell in a minimum security fucking prison. By the way, you know what I learned not too terribly long ago? Sex offenders are actually not eligible for minimum security. You can't do that. You can't do that. Why did you make that shit happen, Trump? Why? You lie. You are a fucking liar. When are we going to see the videos of someone going to a Turek speech and say, you are a fucking liar? By definition, I just asked you a direct fucking question. Again, you're not asking me clarifying questions. Like, fuckface Frank Turek, do you believe in widgets? I have a question for you. What's a widget? That's acceptable. This is not. Distractionary, versus clarifying. This is distractionary. This is so Turk doesn't have to answer the questions. Now, I know this because he says it out loud in English words we all can understand. Tactic number 1, do not answer their questions. Instead, ask the atheist, and he said it. And he's still getting paid. People are still defending his bullshit, just like Trump. Roll the tape.
Wait, that is being wrong.
My own. And
Exactly.
I would hope you would all
pause the tape in the tape. That should be it. We're going to keep going. Exactly. That's exactly what I told fuckface Chris. By who? By my own. And you're right, Chris. You're right. By the way, did you reconcile with your wife? I hope not. I hope she never takes you back, Chris. I hope you live the rest of your life in fucking shame and embarrassment. I do. Give me a break. But I remember I said by my own, and you're right. You don't have to agree with me. Right? Oh my fucking God. Roll the tape.
also find stoning bad.
Right, but if I don't have a standard outside myself, that's just my opinion.
The problem is the standard is God commanding it. Like in the Bible, it says God commanded to do it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Are you saying stoning is all right?
And what was the stoning for?
It depends.
Pause the tape. Stoning could be anything from the most menial fucking shit to you gotta be kidding me. I can't believe we're having this fucking conversation. Because no matter what this kid says, Turk's only comeback is by what standard? Leviticus 18:23 clearly states you're supposed to pick up rocks and throw them at gay dudes until they are no longer converting oxygen to carbon dioxide. That's not up for debate, right? And if you're going to sit here and agree with that, fuck you. If you're going to sit here and make word games and excuses, fuck you. Roll the tape.
For Exodus 19:12 through 13, people were stoned if they walked towards Mount Sinai, including animals. Animals were also stoned if they happened to walk towards Mount Sinai. Deuteronomy had astrology. Leviticus 20 had mediums. Leviticus 24 had blasphemy. If I say right now God sucks, that's grounds for people to take up rocks if I was in ancient Israel and kill me over 10 minutes or so.
Okay.
How is that moral?
Well, first of all, when God orders a...
Pause the tape. Please go fuck yourself. Here we go. Argument from special exception. Right? If you do it, you're a fuck face. When God does it, it's the greatest thing that's ever happened. We can't have discussions with people with this mindset, gang. I already told y'all before, I remember talking to some motherfucker, and they only set me up with him because by some loose definition, he was a UT football player. He must have been the ultimate of walk-ons because I didn't see his name on a roster. You guys, I mean, this isn't like some Navy SEAL shit where you have to have some super secret database. You can look up and see the roster of any UT football team that's ever been around. Just Google it. You can look me up. 1991, the class of beef. 25 guys. Right there. I never saw this fucker. But his brother was, I know for a fact his brother was, and he touched his nipples and jerked off and said, I'm a UT football player, therefore he's a UT football, whatever the fuck. But we're sitting there. This was the dude who sat there and shrugged his shoulders and basically said, well, if my mom's being fucked up by God right now, it's kind of that bitch's fault. And I was like, check, please, I'm out of here. But we're talking about, God's fucked up ass nature. And I brought up the flood. Baby, again, for the pro-lifers, God drowned every baby on the planet. That's there's no joke for that. And this fuckface's only comeback was, that was the biggest show of grace. I'll never forget what he said nor how he said it. You can't have it's like a Trumper, right? Trump is taking over Washington, D.C. He's taking over Washington, D.C. on the premise that it's basically East Side High from 1989's Lean on Me. It's not. It's not. Sex crimes, murder, assault, crimes involving weapon, guns and shit, like, because they were showing their little graphic yesterday as I'm sitting there with my dad. All those crime statistics down. if I'm not mistaken, they said sex crimes, RAPE, down by 50%. Listen to a Trump speech. This is sitting on some bullshit. You can't, walk to the grocery store without your mom being raped in front of your face. The blase and the glavinoids. None of that's true. None of that is true. None of it's true. So you can't have a conversation with someone like that because we're not sharing the same reality. That's what this is. Again, funny how these two things walk hand in fucking hand. You can't have a conversation with someone like this, gang. You just can't. Okay, when you take a life that's sitting on some bullshit, when God does it's the greatest thing ever. Okay, then just tap out and walk away. You're talking to someone who's got no emotional bottom. There's no shame. They'll say anything, including, well, what's wrong with rape if there is no God? Fuck you. There's no Let's just roll the tape. I'm going to have a stroke.
A killing, does he have the right to do that?
I don't think so.
If God exists, does he have the right to do that?
It doesn't matter if he has the right, does it?
Pause the tape. Here's the if shit, right? Why must you cuss so much, angry Negro? Why can't you address the arguments? Because the arguments are sitting on some bullshit. They're sitting on some bullshit. Right? If, again, you're asking, like Ray Comfort. I told y'all, right? You're a lying blasphemer. If you were to die right now, would you go to heaven or hell? Ray, I don't believe any of what you just said. I said if. And this is what I'm talking about. We are dealing with fuck faces. This is one of the most slimiest professions there is. At least when the prostitute tells you, I'm going to charge you money to fuck you, at least you know she's being honest. Right? These motherfuckers come to me and, and make sure you subscribe. DirecTV. It's a tremendous deal. Fuckface, please sign up for it. They're lying to you. They're just trying to separate you from your fucking money, and they're good at it. I was watching some fucked up ass documentary about the L'Oreal people, the Benicor family, and the woman is worth billions, like tens of billions of dollars. If she spent $1 billion a day, she still could. The income from just everything that just sits in banks, gang, was making her richer beyond her imagination. All that, and she was, cutting corners on taxes and shit like that. The garbage man paid more in taxes than this raggedy bitch did. And my point is, how much money do you fucking need? You call your accountant, he's like, hey, what's my net worth? $73 billion. Let's go ahead and make that 73.5. This is sitting on some bullshit. I can't live off of that. Why? Right? Turek is worth millions of fucking dollars, and he does so by lying. And he's like, okay, you can work in corporate America for a fraction of what you're making now, or you continue to kick the bullshit. He says, kicking the bullshit. I'm making millions. How much do you need to sit here and lie? Again, when the prostitute tells you she's going to fuck you for money, at least she is honest. Turek and the like, not so much. Roll the tape. Shit.
Is it moral? Is it good? Like he killed. So, for example, David, when he had his affair with Bathsheba, it says God killed his son out of revenge for it, but he didn't just take him away quickly. The kid died over 7 days of a disease. Even if you say he goes to heaven, ignoring problems with abortion, et cetera, I'd still argue it's immoral to kill a baby.
Okay, it's immoral to kill a baby, but you're pro-abortion?
Yeah, they're not babies yet.
Okay, again, pause it and look at go fuck yourself. Please notice that Turek still has never truly addressed, I call him Arnold. He's never once addressed Arnold's actual questions. Roll the tape.
And besides, God's pro-abortion too. He just killed David's live son, I might add, over a 7-day period in agony.
Can I ask you a question?
No.
Why is it?
Why can't you? Don't answer. Don't ask a question. Why don't you finally fucking answer one? How about that? You ever think about that? With your skin tight ass shirt on. Roll this fucked up ass tape.
When God decides who lives and dies in the Old Testament, he's immoral. But when you decide who lives and dies with regard to abortion, that's immoral, right?
Pause the tape. I'll tell you. And look at this. Shut the fuck up. Let me tell you something. You want to know why? At least I can prove that I exist. And if you would ever shut the fuck up long enough, you can hear me say and I bet you Arnold will say it too. Again, the problem is Turek, he's a professional. Arnold is not. We are pro-choice, Frank. And yes, one of those choices, one of those options is abortion, but it's also maintaining the pregnancy. I'm not making that moral decision for Susie over there. Susie is. That's on you, Susie. It is. Just like what I do with my twig and two berries, that's on me, and it's got nothing to do with Susie. Choice. Choice. You want to know why I believe it to be moral? Because I believe Susie should be in charge of Susie. That's why. Not a bunch of lawmakers sitting in a room, not even discussing with Susie. Hey, Susie, what do you think? Fuck, Susie. A room full of limp dick alpha men are going to sit here and make rules for you to follow. That's just sitting on some bullshit. My stance is more moral because one, I can prove that I exist, and two, I'm going to trust Susie to make the choice that is best for Susie. Roll the tape, shit.
If I'm immoral, then God's immoral. Also, you said who?
No, God is not immoral because if God exists, he takes our lives at some point, all of us.
So it's
Pause the tape. This is what I'm talking about, gang. You're just making excuses. Fuck this motherfucker. Let's go back over to StreamYard. Fucking Turek. There's no place to go with this. None. Zero. Right? He's just making excuses for abusive behavior. Right? What kind of self-defense teacher would I be? What kind of man would I be? What kind of human would I be? I told you, I've heard some of the worst stories there is to hear on human behavior. Straight sitting on some bullshit. I would probably say at least 35% of the stories that I hear, it's their husband, it's their boyfriend. What if I sat there and sounded like Turek? Right? I still say one of the worst ones I ever heard. Let's just gently say she didn't like butt stuff, but he did. And I don't know how you guys get down, but sometimes it's just fun to take a shower with your partner. 9 times out of 10, that's going to lead to some fucking. But, it's just fun, right? You call me crazy. He never would shower with her, ever. The only time he would jump in the shower was for butt stuff. And I remember she told me, and again, I was like, I cannot, fuck. She got to a point where she wouldn't even resist anymore because her mindset was, it's only about 3 or 4 minutes. You just endure it, get it over with. He won't do it again for another month. What if, as a self-defense teacher, I was like, well, he is your husband. He kind of owns your holes. Now, if the mailman did it, that's rape. But when your husband does it, there's no difference, gang. And I got no joke for what it is I just said. Turek is sitting there saying the exact same thing. If that person does it, it's sitting on some bullshit. But when God does it, we got to let him do it. He's fucking fantastic. No, you don't. I told you, if the Christian God actually existed, the only moral thing to do would be to rebel against this motherfucker. Give me a break. Roll the tape.
It's okay for him to command a stoning to do it.
Well, apparently, maybe that stoning was necessary to show other people the seriousness of the crime because...
Pause the tape. You guys should know me well enough to know that I am having a really hard time listening to this. What's the difference between that and the example I just gave you? Well, Susie, he is your husband. And if he wants to do the butt stuff, he does own your holes. They're not your holes anymore, Susie. Just take it. Just sit there and take it like a goddamn prom date. Just take it, Susie. That's your husband. I wouldn't be a bad self-defense teacher, gang. I would be bad at being a person. Turek is, look, if God wants to fuck you all, Eric Hovind, they all sound the same. in order to say we own the atheist epic style. God wants to fuck me up. He can do it right now. I can. If my wife might fuck them kids, fuck that bitch. If God wanted to fuck my wife all the way up, I mean, he is God. He's like, hey, bitch, just stay in your turn in line and God's going to fuck you all the way up. But these are the alpha men, right? I told you, my mom has been gone for a little over 4 fucking years. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe it. Even in death, if you say anything shy of Carrie was the kindest, most beautiful person on, I'm going to rip your fucking face off, straight baboon style. You're going to walk around tragically deformed for the rest of your life, or whatever life I allow you to have. These motherfuckers are so spineless that they're pulling a Ted Cruz, a JD Vance. You want to talk shit about my woman? Knock yourself out, right? Well, he is God. If he wants to fuck that bitch all the what was she doing? What was she wearing? She must have deserved it if God fucked her all the way up. That's all you're hearing right now. Excuses for an intergalactic Ike Turner. This is sitting on some bullshit. This is what I'm saying. You can't have a discussion with someone who has no shame, who has no bottom, right? Your God just murdered every baby on the planet. Well, I mean, he's God. I mean, if God wants to drown a 7-month-old, I mean, he gets to do it, right? Spineless. Roll the tape. We got it.
In Old Testament Israel, as you pointed out, that was a theocracy. And in a theocracy,
that God commanded.
Yes, God commanded that. Okay. And if he commanded that, then he might have a reason for it. Whether or not we know the reason is another question.
So it can be moral if there's a good enough.
Again, pause the tape. Give me a break. Here comes the bullshit. We don't understand the mind of God. Now go to fuckface Frank Turek, 6969. Drop $49 a month for my tremendous seminars so I can tell you exactly about the mind that I claim not to understand. Give me a fucking break. Roll the tape.
Reason to kill people with rocks.
If God has a reason, it can be moral.
I'm done. Have a good evening.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you do it, son. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. There is no conversation to be had with someone who's this fucking spot. Way to go, Arnold. Way to go, Arnold. You just walk away. Right, dude? Frank, I don't think it's a good idea that you reach your hands in that toilet and put the shit that just came out of your butthole in your mouth. Frank, don't do it. Frank, I'm out of here. I can't watch this man eat his own fecal matter. That's what you just heard right there. Are you really telling me that just because a God says it, is that what you? Why, yes, he's got. Have a good evening. That's what you do. You just walk the fuck away. You cannot have a discussion about shame with someone who does not possess it. Someone who will sit there and make excuses for this immoral behavior. And again, if I have to sit here and convince you that rape is wrong, again, you are either a rapist, a Christian apologist, or you're both. This isn't a debate topic. I'm not going to sit here and debate someone. Look, two guys falling in love or just being horny and just want to stick a dick in the other one. It is belt hashtag unprofessional. It's not that there's just nothing wrong with it. False alarm. There's everything right with it. It made them happy. Oh, the horror. Well, according to God, we should kill those faggots. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to count the bumps on the wall because that would be a more productive use of my time than sit here and listen to someone justifying hate. Way to go, Arnold. Roll the tape.
Okay, thank you. I wonder how we define good in the absence of God.
Okay, John. So that video was pretty intense. And as someone who has graduated from CIA, which is the Cross-Examined Instructors Academy.
Pause the tape. Oh my God. So let's see. We got the fuckface from Minute Apologist, Alan Parr, Turek, Allison, I can't remember her last name, and I see fuckface Greg Kokel. Fuck off. You paid money for that? Again, hit me up on Venmo, PayPal. Yeah, it's real. Whatever he charges, I'll cut it in half. Lesson number 1, lie. Lesson number 2, act like you're so fucking stupid you don't understand simple concepts. Lesson number 3, under no circumstances should you engage in the topic at hand. Instead, just continue to ask your interlocutor, questions about them. But what if they ask questions about me? Fuck that bullshit. We gotta get paid, woman. So just be a piece of shit, and that'll be $100. Okay, so apparently they have a CIA academy. Oh my God, roll the tape.
For me, if I'm being quite honest, a lot of this stuff kind of keeps me up at night. So we watched this video earlier, just as a little bit of a background story. We watched this in a creative meeting earlier this week. And as a team, we collectively here at Cross Examine thought it would be a great idea to just go a little bit deeper into a reaction on this, because Frank only had a few minutes to really respond. And I know if he had the time, he would have unpacked it a little bit more.
Pause the tape. He always does that. Go back and look at his older debates. I would explain more, but I don't have the time. He says that every single time. And apparently, he is teaching his minions to do the same. This is sad. It is. Roll the tape.
So we have John here. John is one of the cross-examine instructors. And so me and John are just going to do a live reaction to the video. And John, I just want to get some of your feedback on what advice would you give to new apologists who are, possibly being confronted with these types of questions in a manner where you get question after question and you may not know how to answer those questions.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you asked, because there's a couple levels to what's going on here. If we're trying to do a deeper dive into this question, that could mean two things. One, we do a better analysis or a deeper analysis of who's asking, why they're asking, where they're going with this, and exploring it from that angle. Or we could take the question itself and get really, into the weeds on that. Either way, we could be doing a deep dive, and you're asking something of a framing question that helps us better understand.
Pause the tape. I'm hoping they get into something deeper than this, because I've got absolutely no interest. You have an instructor at the Liars Academy, and you have a victim of these instructors at the Lying Academy. I'm going to hang in there a little bit longer, gang, but this is just hurting my soul. Roll the tape.
And what kinds of answers would be more effective in that context? Well, especially when someone's coming out kind of cocky, kind of arrogant, has a bit of a new atheist vibe. And when you press a little bit, when you ask some follow-up questions, you realize he's got a lot of presumptions built into it, that each of them is a big claim with a whole argument that could go towards that. And so we're almost dealing with like 4 or 5 different questions at once.
Pause the tape. Go fuck yourself, John. Seriously. I told you, I've been explained. I just don't give a fuck. I think new atheism is simply defined as atheists that won't sit there and lay down like whipped dogs. You asked me, I asked you a question. You won't answer it. You told me pizza could take a nap. You asked me to define every word of my goddamn sentence. Do not waste my fucking time. It's not that I'm arrogant. I'm frustrated. You're older than I am, Turek. And you're going to sit here and tell me that you don't know what the word good means. How the fuck did you get a driver's license being that goddamn stupid? Come on, gang. Roll the fucked up ass tape. We're at.
And this has the effect of feeling kind of like a trap question. Like he's trying to get you to say something where you're cornered.
No, go fuck yourself. I remember this shit at work. Right? Okay. Again, when people found out I was an atheist, man, here they came. It was like, are you really going to sit here and tell me that this is okay? Right? Not a single one of them has ever answered this question. You may not call me your friend, but we're definitely friendly. I've watched your kids grow up. We have a good time when we're here. The blase and the fucking glavinoids. I simply don't believe as you believe. Are you really going to sit there and tell me that when I die, the God that you worship is going to torture me forever? I'm not asking what's in your Bible. I'm asking you, friend, do you think that's okay? They have yet to answer it. I think you're going to become a Christian. That's not what I asked you. Do you think that's, I think you're going to become a Christian. I'm going to ask you one more time. Do you think, I think you're shut the fuck up. Get on the goddamn treadmill and run until you throw up or break your leg. I don't care which one comes first. We're not asking hyper complicated questions. This isn't me trying asking you to break down the Pythagorean theorem. I'm asking you a simple fucking question. Do you think me being tormented and tortured for fucking ever, do you think that's moral? I think you're going to become a Christian. Roll the fucked up ass tape. Come on, shit.
And you're going to have to admit, okay, my Christianity, we serve a moral monster of a God, and we're bunk, and you should go on to live your life. It's almost like the only escape route is for us to surrender and admit that Christianity is totally false.
Well, in the tape. You're right. You're right. Otherwise, I'm just sitting here listening to a grown ass man kick the bullshit, get this piece of shit off my screen. He's right. That's why people at work will not answer my very simple question. Do you think it's moral? And then they go to the Liars Institute of America to learn how to tap dance around simple yes or no questions. I'm asking you about your humanity and what you actually think about me. No, yeah, it may, but here's the thing. I'll do it. I will. Robert, I don't agree with you. I don't think the best way to prepare a steak is mid-rare. I actually think it's well done. First and foremost, that's socialism. You order the chicken next time. You have dishonored that cow's sacrifice. Go for what kind of piece of shit orders a well-done steak, commie? But just because we disagree doesn't mean I think you should be hurt. I can answer that. I can't. Okay, you thought that was a fluff example? I'm an atheist. I do not believe in your God nor anyone else's. I'm going to let you, not that you need my permission, but if you want to continue to believe in a timeless basis immaterial, fine, knock yourself out. That's it. There's no punishment waiting for you. We just don't agree on a topic. That's not you, Christians, is it? So you have to sit here and him and haul and make excuses for the most fucked up behavior on the planet. Gang, Uncle Bob's only giving you one big motherfucking problem. So as a result, Uncle Bob's giving you one big motherfucking solution. Christianity, fuckface Frank Turek, Christian apologetics, shut the fuck up. That was horrible. Arnold, golf clap. Way to go. Gang, that's how you do it, son. You just get up and you walk away. To sit there and just continuously make excuses for the worst moral behavior out there. Artist Belch, hashtag unprofessional. And it just quickly devolved in Turek defending the bullshit. Again, Robert, it's horrible, but I know it only happens like maybe once a month. 3 to 5 minutes, just grin, bear it, act like I like it, get it over with. The best part about that is I'm guaranteed about another 30, 40 days of not having to do that. What do you think about that, Robert? And if I sat there and I said, he is your husband, he does kind of own your holes, I told you I wouldn't be a bad self-defense teacher. I'd be a bad person. My response is, that's your butthole. You get to make the call on what goes in it, if anything at all. Living in the same house, saying I do's, all the bullshit, does not give him ownership of anything on you or about you. You are still you. And if you don't want something in your butt, you shouldn't go there. It's just really that simple. What you heard out of Turek was him telling that lady, those aren't your holes anymore. Those are your husband's holes. To sit there and make excuses for the, again, the only excuse he ever came up with was, well, he's God, so he gets to do it. And you fuckfaces out there defending that are more upset that people like me are using foul language you don't give why don't you address his arguments? Because they're fucking horrible, and they're not arguments, they're excuses. They're excuses for shitty behavior, and Uncle Bobby is not taking part in it. All right, gang, the big guy's held you long enough. He's signing the fuck off. Jid and Truth, let's go.